Howdy everybody, we're back with some RPG horror stories. Let's jump into our first one. Our first story is going to be from a viewer known as Art Monso, and it is titled The Dino Spider-Man COVID Meme Gets Me Labeled as a Furry Sex Fiend at a Game Tryout. Content warning for mentions of sexual and political content. So I was looking to play anything then D&D. I found a Discord server on Sci-Fi TTRPGs. I talked with some of the people there and posted a few memes when I saw someone posted an ad for a game with a roaming game date. I DM'd the guy, let's call him Four Clowns in retrospect. The man posted some pretty 4chanish memes and jokes, plus his icon was that of a clown from Space Station 13, which has some interesting people around it. The interview went well. We talked about games we played, what books were allowed, and some sci-fi media we had consumed. That's when he started looking at my post history and found that I had posted the modified, but don't want to cure cancer, I want to turn people into dinosaurs Spider-Man meme. The changes being it was COVID instead of cancer and gators into dinosaurs based on a right-wing South American politician telling people not to get the vax unless you want to be turned into, quote, crocs. Four Clowns withdraws his invite to the game, saying that he has a strict rule against zoophilic, xenophilic, and furry fetish ERP, which stands for erotic roleplay, that the group is made up of good people with good values and formed this group as a safe space from your ungodly kind. I told him it was just a meme, a joke, and he said, unlikely story, and told me to, quote, yif in hell. I mean, glad on that DM having rules against erotic roleplay if they're not comfortable with it and stuff like that in their games, but that meme was enough to, like, make OP a furry degenerate. Also, yif in hell. Somebody knows some furry lingo. But I'm going to assume he's anti-furry, and you know what they say about anti-furries. It's a pipeline to turning into a furry. I told him thank you for his time, and his last message was telling me that Walmart had bleach on sale, not to guzzle down, as he knows it's a popular beverage for your kind, but just wanted to let me know as I seem like someone who is, quote, unclean. It sounds like the DM wants OP to either guzzle some bleach or bathe in it. I mean, both are not a good idea, obviously. I would hope OP reported this guy to the server mods, because I wouldn't want somebody in my Discord server if they were telling people to chug bleach because they posted a slightly furry adjacent meme. Kind of wild. I ended up finding a play-by-post on the same server and having fun with it. I try not to interact with Four Clowns as much as I can. He seems to just kind of stick to posting 4chan cringe. That when he gets called out on is, quote, just a joke. They always say that. We're still too hogging a channel on ship making and giving harsh criticism to anyone else who tries to post there other than himself. TLDR, get called a furry and kicked from a game before it even starts for posting a meme on a sci-fi channel by a literal clown. I think it's probably a good thing that DM kicked OP. I feel like DM's game was probably super cringy, especially given their love of like 4chan and very, being critical of others for posting a shipping channel and not like in a how dare you ship things as in a my ships are better than your ships sort of way. Also, somebody's going to jump to conclusions like that will just be a pain in the ass for you to deal with later on. If somebody's going to look at I'll have the meme posted in the video. Not maybe that specific one, but just that meme in general. The only thing that's kind of furry about it is Spider-Man's talking to a pterodactyl man who's like a Spider-Man villain. So, like, I guess it's furry adjacent in that fact where he's like, I want to turn people into dinosaurs. I don't want to cure cancer. Like, but how's that? Like, it's furry adjacent kind of, but not really. But, like, to immediately jump to that kind of huge conclusion, it's kind of wild. Like if OP had started off on like the ERP foot being like, hey, in my games, I like to erotically roleplay. Like if they were like, just talking their do's and don'ts and were very much like, I love to ERP in my TTRPGs, which I'm not going to knock it if that's what you want to do. You do you, boo. But like they clearly didn't. But if they did, I could see like wanting to kick them or just being like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. You want to ERP, my tables don't do that or something like that. But it's a meme and it's a super tame meme at that. I mean, yeah, it talks about the COVID vaccine. So I guess if that's a hot button topic for you, then I guess you'd be offended, but I don't think you'd be offended that they're a furry. I think you'd be offended that they're pro-vaccine or something. I don't know. OP just, art. The trash took itself out in this instance, so you don't lose sleep, and it doesn't sound like you have. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. That was a very interesting story. There you meet all kinds of weird people out on the internet, said the talking wolf. If you haven't yet, check me out on twitch.tv/VanDavy. I would love it if you guys followed me there. Links are down in the description. Stream on Twitch throughout the week and sometimes on the weekends. Would love to hang out, talk TTRPGs, how your day's going, stuff like that. Check the links out in the description. Let's jump to our next story, though. Okay, our next story is from user Night Sky, and it's titled DM's Roommate is Out of Pocket. So I've been playing with this group for a few months now. My partner and I joined together, and we only attend as a pair. Last session, our DM brought along his roommate to the game shop. I sat next to him thinking nothing of it. It may or may not be important to note that I'm the only woman in the group, and 2 of our 6 players were not in attendance. Everything was chill for the first 10 minutes. I poured out my dice and started preparing my spells on my phone. Next thing I know, this guy has 3 of my dice in front of him. Okay, so I know some people are very protective of their dice, and I can understand why. Dice can be very expensive, especially if you're getting custom made ones from a small shop, or if they're specially made from a smaller shop. Like Chessex sets have a tendency to be, like $5 to $10, depending on where you go and get them. Whereas like custom stuff you get on Etsy and other places could be like $10 plus per set. I know some people pay upwards of $50 for like the liquid cores, or if they're like a, super special, they have like weird stuff in the resin and stuff like that. They can get super expensive, if they're more niche, harder to make, more custom, stuff like that. So I can understand being protective of your dice because they aren't cheap. In some instances, especially if you're a dice goblin. And I totally get it, and being annoyed by some random grabbing your dice as well. Some people have germs, some people don't wash their hands. Also, it's kind of rude to just grab somebody's stuff. So if you're a random, don't just grab somebody's dice. Ask before you start fondling dice and stuff like that. He rolls them, doesn't give them back, keeps playing around with them. He isn't playing with the party. He's just doing rolls for an encounter as the monster. I'm irritated he didn't ask, but I shrug it off. It's just dice. He keeps rolling them over and over, yells out Yahtzee, and asks me if I'm keeping track of his values. I've never played Yahtzee, so no. Also, this is D&D and you're being distracted. Later, he randomly pokes me to get my attention, mimicking what my boyfriend was doing moments earlier playfully. Okay, so my boyfriend can do that, but you cannot. I don't know you. This is the first time we've met. I fail a roll, not upset about it. He starts patting me on the head. Please do not touch me. We are similar ages. You aren't like a comforting grandpa. Please stop. Okay, so it sounds like the roommate here is there to maybe see how this TTRPG is played. Perhaps they're maybe wanting to join the campaign, or they're trying out for the group potentially. If so, and if I was the person in this instance, I'd be on my best fucking behavior. I'm not sure if the roommate in this instance just doesn't have social skills or is trying to be playful or flirty with OP because they're the only woman at the table. And some people suddenly see a woman in a nerdy space, and if they are attracted to women, will go, oh my God, I have to wife this person or something. Like, some people are weird. And it happens with people who are attracted to men and other men at the table too. It happens. You often hear more of the stereotype when it comes to like a woman being in the in nerdy circles and stuff like that. Unfortunately, more than you kind of hear it with males in the same situation. But I guess it depends on what company you're around. Because if you're around good company, you might not see that weird awkwardness at all. Personally though, I'm going to lean towards, currently as we see it, is the roommate has more of a lack of social awareness or social skills. Just as a heads up for everybody out there, don't touch other people. I don't know why I'd have to fucking say that as a pro tip, but like, especially if you're new to this group of people that you've just met, like if you're gonna put your hands on somebody in any way, shape or form, at least like ask first, don't just start putting your hands on people. Cause some people get really fucking defensive. Some people just don't want to be touched. Some people just aren't, they're not physical, like even with people they love. So like, don't put your hands on somebody without them being okay with it. I don't know why I have to fucking say that. I shouldn't have to fucking say that. But I feel like sometimes you have to. So again, not to say what the roommate's doing is okay. It definitely isn't. But they may be misconstrued, like the boyfriend's teasing of OP, as something that people at this table do. The one would hope they'd be able to read the room. Like if only this one guy is doing kind of flirty stuff to the one girl and they came in together and like, You know, sometimes people who are together kind of interact a certain way in public. They kind of have like a rapport. There's like some lovey-dovey talk that sometimes happens. Like, hopefully the roommate would be able to read the room there and realize, like, she's got a boyfriend and he's interacting with her in a way that is special for just them. You know, again, not saying what they did, like he did, like this roommate was okay. Absolutely was not. Potentially just a chance here that just not socially aware, lacking social skills, just didn't read the room properly. And that's not meant to be an excuse. Just an explanation. I finish a turn, put my phone down on the table. He grabs it and I slam it back down. What in the fresh hell would possess you to try to take my phone? It's the end of the night. We're about to leave and I say to my boyfriend, "Aw, you only left me 1.5 nuggets?" As we were sharing those from dinner and I asked to save them for later. The roommate pipes up, "I thought those were for me." Shut up. Good God, I have never met such a disrespectful and outright creepy/annoying person in my life. He did not treat his roommate this way. He did not try to bother anybody else, just me. I think the roommate clearly lacks some social awareness here. I have no clue why they grabbed for OP's phone. That's just a little odd to me. Maybe it's a mixture of lack of social awareness and they're trying to flirt. If they're trying to flirt, it's a really horrible attempt. I'm just going to be honest with you guys that roommate got no game. I could kind of see them trying to be playful and flirty in this manner though, like in the ways that they're doing this, especially if they're like not aware OP was taken and maybe they're like, "Hey, she's kind of attractive. I want to flirt with her." Not to say that OP needed to like convey their fucking relationship status to a table when they go to sit down on it. Nobody should have to do that. But perhaps maybe they thought, "Oh, she's single. I think she's attractive. I'm going to flirt with her," kind of thing. Because some people do flirt by kind of teasing and trying to be like quote unquote friendly teasing in that manner, like the poking, maybe the head patting and trying to like swipe the phone. It's like, "Haha, I've got your phone. Like I'm teasing you," kind of thing. And I'm not saying it's right. It sure as shit isn't. Like the roommate should have read the fucking body language and gone like, "Okay, she's clear. Like what I am picking up, she's not putting down. Like she ain't having it." Be able to read the room and go like, "Okay, hey, you tried. No. So my recommendation here, just overall, in situations like this, if somebody is doing crap like this, be it flirting or just an annoying piece of shit, anything that's kind of just annoying you, just say something. You don't have to be super direct and rude. Just be like, "Hey, you know, please don't poke me. Only my boyfriend can do that." Or, "Hey, please don't pat my head. I don't want people touching me." You know, or, "Hey, don't pat my head. We just met. Don't touch me, please." Just put that out there because that could potentially put a stop to it. Like that might be the reinforcement the roommate needs to go, "Okay, hey, this isn't working. I need to stop." Potentially, fucking hopefully. Or this could spur others into action to intervene because they might see this happening and they might be like, "Well, she's not saying like that she doesn't like it, so maybe she's okay with it." Though I would hope they would be checking up on her, or I would also hope that like the boyfriend would be stepping in, not to say that he has to, like, not to say that like OP here doesn't have their own volition and can't stand up for themselves. I want to make that one perfectly fucking clear. But if you are uncomfortable, just say something. Sometimes you need to be a little direct. There's ways to be direct but polite. Just note like, "Hey, please don't touch me. Hey, don't poke me. Hey, what the fuck? Don't touch my fucking phone." You know, or, "Hey, if you're going to touch my dice, would you please like ask before you use them? I'm very particular about what dice I lend out to people," or something like that. Just to kind of rein in, because some people just don't fucking pick up like on the headlights coming. Like they don't see that shit at all. And sometimes you need to like be very direct, unfortunately. Again, I'd hope that as adults, everybody would be respectful to each other. Everybody would be very aware that people have boundaries and you'd be trying to act in a manner so as not to offend people. But obviously, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you misread shit. Shit happens. Not to say that OP doesn't have a right to be angry, because I'd be fucking annoyed. Rest assured, despite the idea of playing at the DM's house being floated, I will not be stepping foot in there. no way am I going to risk needing to use the bathroom in the home of someone who is so okay with treating me so strangely in full public view. I don't blame OP here. For some of you, that might sound a little outlandish. I have had men flirt with me. They get rejected by me and they just don't fucking get it because I wasn't like you're not like sometimes when you reject somebody, you're like, you let them down easy and you're not like, fuck off, no. And they didn't get it. And then they would accidentally try to walk in on me in the bathroom as I was in it. I've had it happen. It's not fun. So I totally understand OP's concerns with and like discomfort with being in the same home playing like a TTRPG with somebody who clearly isn't like being respectful of their boundaries. So I totally get it. Again, I'm still a bit confused that OP's boyfriend wasn't stepping in or anybody else at the table wasn't stepping in or saying something to the roommate off to the side, because it clearly sounds like they were being fucking weird. And so like, I would hope that like the DM, who's like the roommate is like roommates with, would be like, hey roommate, could you fucking not? You're being weird. You know, or the boyfriend would be like, hey, could you fucking not? That's my girlfriend. Or one of the other people at the table would be like, hey dude, you're being a little weird there. You know, maybe don't put your hands on somebody. You know, perhaps this table is very non-confrontational, you know, but if I was playing at a table with my boyfriend and somebody was actively flirting or being like annoying to them, like trying to take their phone, patting them on the head and stuff, and they like, I could read their body language and tell they weren't like happy with it, like I'd fucking say something at the very least. So I'm a little surprised here, but again, I'm not trying to force like the idea that the boyfriend has to step in. I'm not trying to force the idea that that OP here doesn't have the validity or the voice or the ability to say no for themselves. They absolutely do and should use that, you know. Also, the fucking roommate should know how to read the goddamn room. And I understand sometimes people are really bad with social situations, or they just don't have any awareness. I get it. But my hope is somebody would at least step in here if you saw something happening. Like, step in, say something, do something. Like, because if OP here got way too uncomfortable, like they could leave the table, and that could, you know, maybe cause this thing to dissolve. You know, because if other people are like, hey, nobody's stepping in to help OP, or if there's other women at the table and they're like, well, she left because this fucking dude's being creepy, like now I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to be here or something, like shit can fall apart really quick. So, I mean, if you see something, say something. Alrighty, so an update. Thank you everyone for the kind words and advice. I have sent a message to the DM through Discord explaining how I felt about the situation and what I expect to happen moving forward, and I'm now just awaiting a reply. We'll let you know how it goes. Update number 2. I have received a reply from the DM, and he said the roommate wants to apologize for his behavior, but that he has still asked him not to return for the time being. It would be up to OP to accept the roommate's apology here in this instance. Perhaps it's some big misunderstanding and the roommate has absolutely fucking terrible social skills. Again, not trying to make excuses for the roommates, just trying to say like, maybe this is a thing that happened. And good on OP for telling their DM what the issue was. If this is another good time to speak up about something, be it to the DM or the roommate or whatever. I'm glad they spoke with the DM about their roommate, and, you know, I'm glad that the DM clearly then turned around and spoke with the roommate and is, one, not bringing them along for the time being, and two, probably talk some sense, and or it's a big misunderstanding and the roommate's like, oh shit, oh fuck, I didn't mean to like come off as creepy, oh my god. And now they're like shitting their pants. And hopefully they then apologize. Maybe it's that. Maybe the DM sat down with the roommate, was like, hey, you were being fucking weird, dude. What the fuck? You need to apologize to her. Like, you were fucking a weirdo. Like, what the shit? You know, hopefully the roommate cleans up their act or is able to explain themselves when they apologize to OP. Just be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know how to read a room and I thought this was okay. I'm so sorry. It will not happen again. Like, totally understand if you don't want to be like around me kind of stuff. But yeah, good on them for speaking up. Hopefully this gets resolved. Hopefully it doesn't cause too many bumps at the table and they're able to keep playing, you know, D&D and stuff. Our last story is going to be from user Dense Injury 7171 and is titled The Dragon Coup That Broke Our West March Group. So we play in this West Marches campaign, big shared world, lots of players, and even an online system so people can do stuff between sessions. It's awesome when it works. Anyway, we had this wild session where we fought a dragon, didn't kill it, and we actually convinced it to chill with us and come to our main city hub. Our mayor, who's literally a player, democratically elected to the online side of things, did not like the idea. He wanted the dragon gone. I could totally understand that. A giant dragon could do a ton of damage potentially. I like the concept of the campaign, big West Marches style campaign, stuff to be done online between sessions. It sounds like players are involved in the city hub in some way as like merchants or like a mayor in this instance. And that's kind of cool to be like also adventurers by day, bartender by night or something. It's a cool concept. I like it. I like it a lot. A few other players thought the dragon could be useful and started plotting to overthrow him, I assume him being the mayor. Meanwhile, another player, a shady merchant type, tried to help the mayor, but in a really sketchy way. The mayor was a lawful paladin type, all about rules and justice. The merchant, more of a rules or suggestions sort of thing. So the merchant organizes this hit team to sneak into the city and kill the dragon. Because, quote, people are dying while we wait for bureaucracy. That's a fucking stretch. The mayor finds out and arrests him. Okay, so the mayor doesn't want the dragon. So the mayor does want the dragon out, but they don't want a hit squad to kill the dragon because that would be murder of the dragon potentially. Or is there not supposed to be combat within the city walls or something? Also, it sounds like we're headed for PvP. I hope there's been a discussion around if PvP is allowed, and if so, in what forms, be it raw combat, in, political politicking behind each other's backs, in screwing each other over, like, in a mercantile sense, like RP, PvP, like, there are different forms of PvP out there outside of just, I beat somebody over the head with a greatsword. And hopefully there's been discussions around that, because this sounds like it could blow up. Fast forward a few in-game days, and the pro-dragon faction makes their move to overthrow the mayor. Chaos. The merchant had warned him, but the mayor still felt betrayed from every direction, and it hit him hard. Like, real life hard. He actually quit the game. Just straight up left the server. He was also one of our DMs for other parties, so yeah, huge loss. Then came the horror session. Okay, so it's quite clear that PvP discussions were never had with this table or tables. While it isn't necessarily combat PvP, it's still undermining player agency kind of PvP, like working to remove the mayor from from power, or trying to murder the fuck out of this dragon a bunch of players brought in. Like, those are both potentially forms of PvP. And those need to be discussed on whether or not like in general the specific situation, but the type would be allowed. Ask yourselves, talk amongst the whole tables here. Is politicking allowed? Like, are political factions allowed to overthrow one another? Are we allowed to form hit squads to kill the mayor if we're maybe a little on the sketchier side with our alignment? Like, this stuff needs to be discussed. So figure it out before you end up in the shit with it. Have these conversations. The new DM, who, fun fact, was one of the players who overthrew the mayor, ran a mission to find a slaver's ship. Pretty simple setup. Get in, save the slaves, be the heroes. Except he decided to make his NPC self-insert tag-along and basically tell us what to do the entire time. Oh boy, DMPC. Anytime we joked or tried to roleplay, he got weirdly defensive. We didn't remember the exact names of his 6 ships because who does? And suddenly we were, quote, disrespecting his lore. This sounds like an out of the frying pan and into the fire sort of moment here. We jump from that clusterfuck involving the dragon to now a shitty DM inserting his DMPC. Not to knock people who do DMPCs, but like, it doesn't sound like if you're going to do a DMPC, this is the way to do it. He threw a self-insert in, and that self-insert is leading the party around like a main character. That's not how that should be done. Also, before we jump back to the story, don't get mad at your players for not remembering the names of 6 random ships. I try to write everything down when I'm a player, and I am still not able to get everything. If they don't remember, either go, oh well, hopefully you don't need to call out the names of these things in particular, or let them roll a history check to be kind and, maybe let them refigure it out. It happens. Your players have a lot going on. They're not going to always write down the 6 ship names you have, especially if those 6 ship names don't sound like they're the most important thing in the universe. Don't take offense. Players are going to be players. So he punishes us. Impossible rolls to persuade, forces us into some janky boat with a rookie captain, then makes the map impossible to read because we didn't choose the quote right NPC earlier. Luckily, one player cast comprehend languages to fix that, which you could tell pissed him off even more. I think that's a really smart way to unfuck a situation. That's sick. That's a good use of utility spells. We finally catch sight of the slaver's ship, but nope. Turns out we have to roll to move. Anything under 17 and we can't go forward. Straight up. As a roll, like no modifier. So obviously it's faster than ours, so we can't even reach it. Then he just ends the session, like 50 minutes in. All right, that's all for tonight. We didn't even get to play. No fight, no RP, nothing. Just a DM on a power trip punishing everyone because his quote lore wasn't respected enough. And then this got out to the other players and everybody ended up quitting. We went to having 15 plus people and 4 DMs to then nothing. Okay, well, ouch. The house of cards kind of tumbles here. I'm wondering if things were kind of stressed already. I feel like one group having a shitty session with a shitty DM wouldn't crumble everything, especially if that DM was going on a power trip. People just be like, well, fucking Steve shouldn't DM anymore. So clearly there was a little bit more that was rocking the boat here. No pun intended. Before this knocked over everything and fucked everything over. Also, clearly discussion should have been had on what is and is not allowed when it comes to removing players from positions of power in the story, or acting against other players and doing things that could potentially take their agency in a very direct manner, or things that are very PvP focused. Like, these discussions should have been had. What's allowed, what's not allowed, what can you do? And then also letting other people know, like, other players may do political conniving and fuck you out of your position of power. Don't be offended by it. It's part of the story. Just roll with it, which is easier said than done. I understand people get very attached to their characters, and when you get fucked over as your character and your character is in a lot of pain, it can hurt. I totally get it. But there clearly needs to be some ground rules here. Also, this shitty DM here was a very combative piece of shit on a power trip. If you're going to make things difficult, like sailing a boat, you need to explain why. Don't just be like, you need to roll a 17 or higher on a d20 unmodified to make the boat move forward, because one, that's not easy. Also, there needs to be some sort of explanation as to why abilities, skills, RP, whatever, cannot be used to help move the ship faster. Like, as a DM, if I was like, hey, this ship is going to be really hard to steer, you guys didn't get on a good boat, so the crew's kind of shitty, and you need to push this boat beyond its limits. So, like, if they come up with creative ways to get around that, that's awesome. That's them interacting with the world. That is them doing things that maybe are, playing the game outside of a combat sense, be it RPing with the crew, being like, come on, men, let's, I don't know, hoist the sails better and fucking wash each other's poop decks or some shit. I don't know, whatever RP people do to inspire people. Call them all sexy bitches and tell them to bring sexy back and like maybe inspire them. Or, one of the players casts like gust of wind behind them and tries to push wind behind the boat to make the boat go faster, or control water in some way to help push it forward. Or they try to do like, I don't know, darkness on the enemy ship ahead if they can somehow do that, to try to blind the person piloting the ship so it maybe crashes or something like that. Any sort of interactions like that outside of a combat sense are awesome, and those should be pushed and encouraged and rewarded. So to be a shitty DM and just be like, you need to roll this stuff at a 17 or higher unmodified and not tell them why they can't do it, because maybe there is a reason why they can't do it, but you should explain it to them at the very least. That way they're not getting their hopes up that they can interact and do stuff and then they can't. Bad DM in this instance. Very, very bad DM. And then I'm gonna jump on the DM NPC train here for a second. I do not like bringing self-inserts. I don't like DMPCs. Unless you're planning to like kill them off to set tone or something like that. Running with what's clearly a DMPC in this instance is a very difficult tightrope to walk. And I think it can ruin things very quickly. Like, you need to then, as the DM, one, have them not leaning on it because your character can supposedly, quote, meta to know what's going on. Two, you shouldn't be using your self-insert here to be the main fucking character. If you want that, go write a goddamn book or play as a player in a campaign. Like, I don't know. I don't like DMPCs. It's a very difficult tightrope to walk. Sometimes people get offended, especially if your DMPC's not having a shitty time. Like, if nothing bad happens to your DMPC ever, people are gonna be like, you're just favoring that because it's you and you're the fucking DM. So I would personally recommend never doing it. Some tables do it and they love it and it works for them, and that's great. I'm not going to yuck your yum. If it works for you, if you can do it, if all the players at the table are happy, phenomenal. Do it, roll with it. I wish you the best. But it doesn't for me. It's unfortunate though that this super cool idea, this campaign idea fell apart. But again, it's probably for the best. If people were going to be stuck with this shitty DM, they'd have eventually quit. And that would have put strain on the entire campaign overall, as either those players needed to move to other tables, or they'd be completely out of a table of like 4 to 5 or however many people, you know, and that could make things weird, or like there's this massive power vacuum suddenly, and you have to account for that when you're DMing and playing the story. TLDR, player mayor gets betrayed in a dragon political mess, quits the game IRL. One of the betrayers becomes DM, turns the next session into a 50-minute punishment for not worshiping his story. Nobody has fun. The group falls apart. Okay, my TLDR. Have conversations ahead of time about rules and do's and don'ts, especially if you're going to have outside of table stuff like a political system where PCs are actively political party members or in positions of power in a town and stuff like that, and how you're going to handle that. Because what could be cool political intrigue could really actually end up being PvP, depending on how feisty and spicy everybody gets. And you need to make sure that everybody's down for that and prepared for that. Alrighty, everybody, thank you all for hanging out. That's going to be it for today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to catch me on Twitch. Links are in the description. Let me know your thoughts on any of these stories here. If you're interested in submitting a story, DM me on Twitter, like Axe Twitter or Blue Sky for right now. I have a Discord from when I streamed many moons ago, and I'm currently revamping it. I'm trying to just clean it up, and I want to make it a place where people can come maybe hang out. If you wanted to play, you know, TTRPGs together, you could help find a group here or something like that. I'm working to try to like shove some tools in there and kind of get some bots in there to make it easier for people. And I'm working on getting that fixed up before I kind of soft launch a link out to everybody to join if that's something you're interested in. And when I do get that, I will have an area to suggest stories to me. But if you'd like to, DM me on Blue Sky or X. I'm more responsive probably on Blue Sky. I really only use X to kind of post when I'm going live on Twitch, or if I'm posting videos when those are, because I don't like that platform too much. I much prefer Blue Sky, though. Otherwise, you could wait until I have my Discord up, which I'm revamped. I'm hoping to get that up soon. But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, everybody.